Game twos. Doggy, you're up first. You like Anthony Edwards to hit 3 or more threes tonight. Why?
Well, because Wemby is going to intimidate people and he have some opportunities to make some long-range shots. Plus, I think San Antonio is going to be leading because I think they're going to win, which is going to make Minnesota try to get back in the game by shooting long jumpers. So I'll say over 3 for him with the threes.
Okay, Stephen A. Tyrese Maxey getting over 35 points, rebounds, and assists. Why?
Because the Sixers are desperate. They don't want to go down 0-2. But most importantly, the biggest reason is that Tyrese Maxey is a superstar in this league. He's something special, and he was not that in Game 1. That is not Tyrese Maxey. That was a man that was tired, emotionally exhausted from a 7-game series against the Boston Celtics, coming back from a 3-1 deficit. He is far, far better than that. And oh, by the way, quietly very prideful. He is not going to sit down and have a duplicate performance from Game 1. If there's one person I trust to show up and to look at the Knicks and say, here I come, it's Tyrese Maxey. And that's why I said that about him tonight. He ain't going out like that. That is not Tyrese Maxey that you saw in Game 1. Don't worry about seeing that Tyrese Maxey for the rest of this series. That was a one-time situation. It will not happen again.
Okay, and I feel the exact same way about Victor Wembanyama, although he had great blocks. The shooting was not great in Game 1. I'm going to take him to get 25 or more points. In the last 4 games, Wemby has played against the Timberwolves. 3 of those games, he has scored 25 or more points. Also, following a loss, when Wemby plays, the Spurs 5-0. Following a loss when Wemby plays. Keep that in mind. I expect him to have a huge night tonight against the Timberwolves. Let's talk more about this series here, specifically the Timberwolves and the Spurs. And Minnesota taking Game 1 after knocking out Jokic and the Nuggets in the previous series. Are we maybe sleeping on the Timberwolves? They have been to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 seasons, Wendy.
No, they're a fascinating team. So first off, they've won 5 playoff series the last 3 years. That's pretty good.
Who they sent home? Tell that.
No kidding.
That's
Denver.
Who they sent home?
No kidding. So, and by the way, they haven't had home court in 3 of them. That means that, they've won 3 playoff series as a 6th seed. Okay, and during the season when they were struggling and they were dancing with the play-in, you'd pick up the stats and you'd take a look and you'd say, damn, they're in the top 10 in offense and top 10 in the defense, those Minnesota Timberwolves. Under the hood, they are a very dangerous team. They just kind of mess around in the regular season. And it's got to drive Finch crazy. And by the way, Chris Finch is low-key developing one of the most impressive resumes of any current head coach in the NBA. Because the way he's able to retrofit his team and play the games and move lineups around and stuff, he won the game in the last round with a lineup he hadn't really played all year, and the way he works the referees, they got something going here. And the whole thing, everything about this series changed when that injury report came out on Sunday, Shea, and all of a sudden Ant Edwards was questionable.
Yeah.
Whoa. That means that this series is going to be, right from the start. So I will say this. Tonight, I think that one of the most important things is how much can Ant give. He played 25 minutes, and Finch did a great job, Stephen A.
Yes.
Of managing those 25 minutes he had, but he was exhausted at the end of the game. He made some fatigue mistakes. And, we never see Ant with more swag than when he wins a road playoff game. That's when he gives the best quotes, bring your ass and all that stuff. He could barely talk after that game. So how much, 2 days later, how much more can he give? Because you were right, Shea, it's going to need more because you're going to get a big game from Victor tonight.
Go ahead, Doggy.
Well, I do understand that San Antonio, a young team, we've been wondering when, in fact, his youth might come back and bite him in the rear end. We thought maybe it would be the Oklahoma series down the road. And now with Minnesota, great job by Wendy. They've won a lot of playoff series. I love Finch, too. Now we think maybe the youth will catch up to him. I'm not buying it. They were in a little trouble in Portland. Remember, they didn't have Wembanyama in Game 3 when they were coming off a loss. I think I'd be very surprised if the T-Wolves win this series. I really would. I said 5 before it began. I'll go 6 now. I think the Timberwolves will win another game. But, one thing about the Timberwolves, before we go out there and put them on a pedestal, please, including Anthony Edwards, can we also give you this stat before we go crazy? He's 2-8 in conference finals. Okay? He got killed by Doncic. They lost in 5 games. They were down 3-0. And then they got embarrassed last year by Oklahoma City. They lost 2 games badly in Oklahoma City. They won Game 3 easy, then they got killed again. They never beat the Thunder. Never. So they are 2-8. To be fair, I know they won a lot of playoff series, but in conference finals, they've lost 8 of 10, to be fair. So let's not go crazy on Minnesota quite yet.
Well, you could talk about not going crazy on them, but give them credit because they weren't the better team. You understand? And they still got the back-to-back conference finals appearances. I understand that you bring up championships when you want to bring up championships and you ignore them when you want to ignore them because that's what your specialty is. But the fact is that if they were the favorites, your argument would be far stronger than them being a 6th seed. And by the way, think about who, like I said, Ant-Man has sent home. He has sent KD home. He has sent LeBron and Luka home. He has sent Jokic and Murray home. This is what he has done. He sent Devin Booker home. This is what Ant-Man has done. He's exhausted. He's expected to miss the game because his knee was jacked up. And he comes off the bench and gives you 18, okay, on better than 60% shooting. Show some damn respect. That's number one. Number two, when I think about the Minnesota Timberwolves, here's something else somebody else you got to give respect to. First, Coach Finch is doing a hell of a job. Julius Randle and these boys are making Wemby feel them. I mean, it's like they're bumping them, elbowing them. You know, they're reminding them this playoff basketball now. You 235 pounds. They were a plus when he was on the court. They were +5 when Wemby was on the court. They were -7 when he was off the court. Why does that matter? Because Wemby, can you stay in the game? Because he wasn't injured. He was tired because they was making him feel it. You understand what I'm saying? That matters. Terrence Shannon, I like this young kid. I like this kid that Finch has plucked off the bench. Built like a damn linebacker. Really, really fast. Very athletic. Skywalker as well. When you've got Harper, De'Aaron Fox, who owned game one, put it on his shoulders, you got Castle and Vassell and these boys, you need somebody like Terrence Shannon coming off the bench, joining McDaniels, joining Julius Randle and the crew. I like what I'm seeing Minnesota doing. I really, really like it. Give them their respect. They could win this series.
All right. To recap what we're going to do with these games tonight, we have Anthony Edwards hitting 3 or more threes. Tyrese Maxey having more than 35 points, rebounds, and assists. And then how about Wendy agreeing with me? Victor Wembanyama going for 25 or more points. Those odds are +413 for a parlay on DraftKings Sportsbook. Coming up here on First Take.
Low reactor. But Perk, I bow in your general direction.
But he did say if they lose game 2.
Is this a must-win game tonight for San Antonio?
It's a need to win. If they go to Minnesota down 0-2, they've never been in that. Mike Conley's played in 115 playoff games, right? Mm-hmm. Rudy Gobert's played, I think, in 92 or 93 playoff games. Playoff games.
Yeah.
San Antonio has nothing to call on, all right? Mm-hmm. And then you know my theory about this, that you have to have despair before you get to the mountaintop, unless you are Russell, Magic, or Tim Duncan. Yeah. Everybody else, LeBron, go back, Kobe, air balls in the playoffs, Michael, Larry Bird, despair. Where you see guys, speaking of at lockers afterward, where they can't leave the building for hours. They are in such despair. What I'm saying to you is Minnesota has come close to that. They did dethrone Denver when they were defending champs. But they've lost these series, and they've had some despair.
They got the despair.
They've had it.
And they're the team that's had the heartbreak. You used to tell me on Countdown, a team has to have its heart broken.
Yes. Well, San Antonio doesn't even know what that feels like yet.
But here's the thing. And the crazy thing is usually when a team makes 2 conference finals, we're saying, Anthony Edwards, you're the next star. Mm-hmm. You need to get there. We didn't give them any of that. And I will say this. I covered that Minnesota-Denver series in 24 after Denver won. Minnesota won the first 2 games on the road. You know what they did? They lost the next 2 games at home.
That's true.
Nothing matters.
Yeah, they had to win
because they weren't ready at that time.
Right.
Yeah. But they
anything
seem ready.
can happen.
And if they, one more time, I know I said this before, if they had DiVincenzo and Ayo healthy, look what they could do to the San Antonio guards. Look how they could defend them. So Minnesota, man, this could have been a magical year for them if they had all their pieces.
Victor's a quick learner. I repeat that. Victor learns quickly.
And San Antonio has all those guards that come at you in waves. Should be a really interesting game tonight. Should be a great double.